Teachers think that it is very, very difficult to stop bullying. It isn't.
All teachers have to have a total 100% awareness of bullying being a problem.
I know what to do. There is someone that has made this program for us, and it works. It really works, and that's what I like about it.
Norway has had a pioneering role in tackling bullying. Recent initiatives have cut bullying in some schools by 50%. Why has this mountainous country of just 4.6 million made anti-bullying such a high priority, and how do they tackle bullying in school? Norwegians are well known as peacemakers. Less well known is their tradition of seeing children as a communal responsibility. This attitude was epitomised by the public response to a tragedy in the university town of Trondheim in 1994. In a case reminiscent of the killing of James Bulger, 2 boys were responsible for the death of a 5-year-old girl. Psychologist Trun Andreasen was involved in the case.
It was the first day of winter here in Trondheim. During the night had come some snow, so a lot of children were out playing in the first snow, and among them was a girl called Silje. She was playing with a couple of friends. Somehow the 2 boys started to attack Silje. They hit her, kicked her, threw her down on the ground, jumped on her, hit her with stones, and left her unconscious in the snow, where she was found a little bit later, and then she was dead.
The 2 6-year-old boys were questioned by police and returned to their families.
We thought that it would be very important to keep the 2 boys in as normal a social situation as possible. We were afraid that these boys would be ostracized from society and isolated, and that would endanger their development. So getting the boys a place in kindergarten was one of the most important things we did. And this is the kindergarten where one of the boys went.
Trun had to talk to parents at each kindergarten before the boys started.
In a situation like that, you could expect that some people would be very afraid and very angry and very sad. So we were preparing for all kinds of reactions, but the main reaction from the parents we met was that, of course, these children needed kindergarten maybe more than any other child at that moment. So they said, of course, these children must come to our kindergarten and be taken care of here.
The boys stayed in the area. Today, one still receives help for psychological problems, but the other leads a normal life. The tragedy did nothing to shake the country's long-held belief in children's protection and rights. Norway had the world's first ombudsman for children and the first anti-bullying campaign. Smacking children is against the law. A new initiative against bullying began in 2002.
I think really the focus on bullying started with the pupils themselves, because they made the Ombudsman for Children aware of the problem that was in Norwegian schools, and we really felt that it was time to do something about it, because it seemed like the adult community were ignoring the very sad fact that a lot of children really were scared to go to school.
A government-led manifesto against bullying galvanized action across the country.
We said during the manifesto process that the first signature, we would have 0 bullying in 3 years. Of course, that was putting the goal very high, but we should aim high, because we couldn't say that we want to half the bullying incidents. We say no bullying is accepted. And we got a new law in Norway stating that all pupils have a legal right to a good and bully-free working environment. And that is, of course, is a main step forward for pupils and children's rights. It gives them the same rights in their workplace as I have in my workplace.
Taino School in Stavanger has 370 pupils from grades 1 to 10. Following publication of the manifesto, Taino introduced an anti-bullying programme which places the responsibility on teachers. The programme is called Zero.
Ha det greit. Kjempeflinke, bye bye.
One day, pupils were on a trip on the school boat, across the local fjord to the islands beyond. A small group of students started picking on a classmate, verbally and physically. They carried on after school. The boy reported what had happened the next morning. Any incident is dealt with immediately, whether it happens in or out of school. There's a strict process that all staff employ. First, teacher Elin Åkesson talks to the victim.
Jeg synes det var veldig trist, Sven Henrik, å få høre hva som skjedde på båtturen, men jeg vil at du skal fortelle meg det med egne ord. Ja. Og så skal jeg etterpå snakke med de som ikke var snille med deg i går. Og litt senere, når du bestemmer, Sven Henrik, ingen andre, så skal vi ta en prat. Meg og deg og de skal ta en prat sammen. Men først har jeg veldig lyst at du skal fortelle meg hva som skjedde i går.
På veien tilbake igjen fikk jeg kjøre båten da.
Ja.
Ja, så begynte de å lage grimaser og plage som kom til å drukne.
Men det blåmerket du har på leggen, hvem er det som har gitt deg det?
Ikke sikker. Sigurd, tror jeg.
Det var Sigurd?
Ja.
Ja. Dette er veldig alvorlig, Sven Henrik. Jeg skal nå informere rektor. Jeg kommer til å ringe til dine foreldre og fortelle dette.
Ja, men ikke sånn at de begynner å banke meg mer.
Nei, jeg lover, Sven Henrik, vi skal passe godt på deg. Jeg kommer til å ringe dine foreldre, og jeg kommer til å ringe Tore og Sigurd og Sofie og Marte sine foreldre. Og vi kommer til å gi grei beskjed at vi ikke aksepterer det. Jeg forstår at du er redd for at de skal gjøre gjengjeld med deg, men vi skal passe godt på, og vi skal følge veldig godt med.
Ok.
Next, Elin talks to each bully separately.
Tore, kan jeg få snakke litt med deg? Hva nå? Jeg vil snakke med deg. They feel tougher when they are together. When they are alone, they're actually quite small. And then they listen. Jeg har hørt av Sven Henrik at det skjedde noe på båtturen i går. Du har sendt han stygge blikk. Du har vært med å spenne han. Jeg skal ta en telefon hjem til dine foreldre nå, og det samme skal jeg gjøre med de andre som var med på dette. Forstår du alvoret i dette, Tore? Gjør du det? Fint. It allows me to be strict. It allows me to be very clear as a grown-up, because I'm used to, when things happen, and you talk to the children that does something wrong, that is bullying, and they say, yes, but that and that happened. The program said they're not allowed to talk in the first phase of the procedure. They're not allowed to talk. They're just going to listen. They're going to be told, what did I do wrong? Marte, at du har vært med og gjort båtturen for Sven Henrik i går til en ganske trist affære for han. Sven Henrik har blitt mobbet av deg og en del andre.
Jeg har ikke gjort noen ting.
Marte, tid du stilt, nå skal jeg snakke. Jeg vet at du var med Tore, Sigurd og Sofie i går. Dere hadde vist grimaser mot Sven Henrik. Han fikk lov å styre båten. Dere gjorde et sånt dramastykke som om båten skulle gå på bånd eller krasje fordi han styrte. Hjelp, hjelp, nå krasjer vi. Han har et stort blåmerke på leggen. Han mener du eller Sigurd spente han, for dere kom mot han begge to.
Jeg har ikke spent.
Dere har mobbet han. Dere har gjort dagen hans vonde. Jeg aksepterer ikke en sånn oppførsel på denne skolen. There is no excuse for bullying. There is no excuse. So they can't excuse themselves, but they can talk with me and the other and say, what am I going to do with this? And we also, when it's very bad, we also invite the parents in, for the bullier's parents and the victim's parents, so they can all talk, and so the parents listen to what is going to happen. What are their child going to do?
Later, Elin talks to the victim again and with his agreement to the bullies together as a group. The same process is used by every staff member in every bullying incident.
I'm thinking different, you know. I'm quite embarrassed to say this because I'm not proud of myself, but I actually could think when I experienced someone said to me, oh, he bullied me, he did that and that, and I was thinking, oh, yeah. And I was like, I can understand the bullier, you know? I feel like an awful person when I say this, but I actually thought like that. Now I just, bullying, it's not allowed. A victim is a victim. I know what to do. There is someone that has made this program for us, and it works. It really works, and that's what I like about it. And it's zero. Zero means you don't accept it at all.
Unlike many interventions, Norway's anti-bullying programs stem from decades of research. The Zero program was developed by Professor Arling Rølum.
The key is really that you say to the pupils that I do not accept bullying in this class and at this school. A little episode can be regarded as not very serious, but it's a wrong signal. And if the pupils observe that the teacher look another way and do nothing, that will be a very, very bad signal.
At Tainor, the Zero program isn't just about tackling incidents. Just as important are the preventative strategies.
We have lots of zero guards out in the schoolyard. We put children together in groups across the ages, different levels on same groups, to try to make them confident or to rely on older persons. The small ones should be safe, and the older ones should see that the small ones need them. So we try to tell them that it's important, their self-esteem, they are important as persons, and they can talk to just anyone they see in the schoolyard.
Hello! Jeg spurte om jeg kunne være med ham, men jeg fikk ikke lov. Og så tok han den ene som trykte på tauet, så tauet til vi ble raknet her.
Ja, men det skal vi ordne. Skal vi gå og finne de som du har lyst til å være med? Kom her. Jo, vi går og finner hvor er de i klassen din henne?
Noen er der, og noen er der oppe.
Kom an, så går vi opp, så holder du meg i hånden, så kan vi filme altså. There, okay. Yeah, she found somebody. Og så tar du det med deg, så springer du bort. Ha det! Everybody knows now, after the program, that they can't say no. I already have my friend here. We won't let her in. They don't say that any longer because they know that we all include everyone. That's how we are. We all involve much more. So the guarding in the schoolyard has changed after the Zero program, because as for me also, I involve more. It's important for me to know how they are, and it's important for the others because we get to know them out of the classroom and we see another side.
God morgen, vær så god, sitt ned. God morgen. Vær så god, sitt ned.
In Elin's grade 2 class, pupils are reporting more bullying. Getting them to tell has been a priority.
When we started this program, we had to start with saying it's allowed to tell. You have to tell if you see something. You have to tell if you experience something bad, because we can't see it all. Unfortunately, we can't. We don't have eyes in our neck with teachers. And after we started the program, we also told the same to the parents, of course. The parents called, because parents see and hear things we don't see and hear. Other children came to us and said, you know something, he has been bullying for days. You have to help. So it was okay to tell.
Bisle kan jeg skrive.
Har dere noen gang opplevd å gå til en voksen og si at noen har gjort noe stygt med dere? Si at det var noen som sa at du var dumme. Så går du til en voksen og sier du, Elin, vet du hva, det er noen som har sagt jeg er dumme. Og så sier de som har sagt at du er dum, så sier de sånn Bisletut, går inn og ut. Har dere opplevd det noen gang? Noen kaller dere bisletut?
Jeg går ned og spiller. Det tar meg vekk. Siden han ville bare spille, det tar meg vekk, så gikk jeg opp og bisla.
Så gikk du opp og bisla?
Så sa han at jeg var bisletut.
Ja. Bisla, er det et veldig sånn kjekt ord? Nei. Er det et litt sånn dumt ord? Ja. Veldig enkelt spørsmål. Denne vesten her som vi voksne går med. Når dere opplever noe, ser at noen blir erta eller mobba, eller dere selv blir erta eller mobba, hva skal dere gjøre da? Opp med en hånd. Opp med en hånd. Jonas! Gå til en zerovakt.
Med gul vest.
Med gul vest. Eller en annen voksen. Sant? Lover dere meg det? Ja! Er det bisling å gå til en voksen? Nei!
The main reasons for bullying is that there are opportunities, that means little control, and that there are rewards also. And that means to see a victim being afraid, to have applause from the audience and so on. And it is the teachers that is in the absolutely best position to reduce both the opportunities and the rewards. The pupils should know that the teachers do not accept it, that the teacher monitor the pupils in a good way. To take away the rewards is more difficult. It is difficult to take away the rewards that the victim is hurt, for example. But it is possible to take away the applause from the audience, and that is also very, very important. It is not good if the pupils are allowed to do something in front of one teacher and there is another standard for another teacher. Someone has said that it takes a village to raise a child, and this is really, really true at the school also.
Schools which have successfully reduced bullying, like Tia Lyken's school in Oslo, are open about the problem and regularly survey students about it. When the school first introduced an anti-bullying programme similar to Zero, a pupil survey revealed 40% of students were being bullied.
When I first came here, it was a really tough environment, and it was difficult to keep the focus on teaching, because the focus was always on the behavior and the class behavior and also the bullying part. It was difficult to know what to do, because we didn't have a system that took care of those things, so you were left alone with that job.
6 years later, only 8% say they're being bullied, down from 40%.
Yeah, first of all, you have the time to talk together, the teachers, so then you get the feeling of not being alone. And those class meetings, you give both the children and yourself a moment in a hectic day to talk about the serious problems.
Men nå det dere som store. Dere noe annerledes da? Har dere lært noe av det?
Før så husket jeg at alle sladret hele tiden, bare fordi for eksempel noen ødela en gang eller tok ballen fra en, så begynte de andre å sladre, og så maste de på deg og sånt. Men også sier de bare ifra hvis det noe alvorlig.
Synes dere det vanskelig å si ifra til en lærer da, hvis dere ser mobbing, eller hvis dere ser noe i skolegården? Tror dere det like vanskelig for de yngste da, eller like lett?
Så sier de eldre at vi banker deg hvis du sier det til læreren.
Det fortsatt noen som gjør det?
Ja.
Det ting som dere mener at vi må jobbe med? Ja. Hva kan vi gjøre da? Vi voksne?
At det flere voksne ute.
Flere voksne ute, ja. When you start with them, you won't get everyone to say something. So you have to work on that and maybe ask them easy questions so that the first things they say in these meetings are yes or no. And if you have a good environment in that meeting, it's easier for them to talk to you afterwards.
Tainer School has students from 6 to 16. The same approach to anti-bullying is used with all age groups.
Most of them thought that bullying was beating someone up. And so when I asked, is there bullying that happens in 9th grade? No, 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 everyone said. But then we started talking about the verbal bullying and indirect bullying, turning your back when somebody comes, and the things that typical teenagers tend to do. Did you know that if you do that over time, it's bullying? And they didn't know that. So now they do know that. And I think, if nothing else, they're more aware of what they do.
Anti-bullying is seen as part of general education and is integrated into the weekly curriculum.
We spent a unit where they wrote down compliments. It was part of their grade to give compliments. And it seems like most of them put forth that effort, and they came in so proud. Something that meant something, not just, oh, I like your hair. Something that really meant something to that person. And then they wrote a lot about how does that feel when you give a compliment. Even if you don't like that person, oh, it makes me feel good, actually. And okay, well, if you give a compliment to so-and-so amount of people, and then they give a compliment, you've seen the movie, Pass It On. That same sort of idea. So you, as one person, can affect the day that hundreds of people are going to have. So do we talk directly about bullying all the time? No. But reminding them how you can affect a lot of people's lives. And even we discuss the extreme things that can happen. You know, you can say that one mean thing to that person every day, and they can commit suicide. Because everyone is negative to that person when they come to school. And I think then they realize.
I'm thinking more of what I'm saying about everyone. Every time I want to say something about someone, I think that maybe it's not the best thing to do.
No. When we were younger, then we didn't think right, I think. But
didn't think about what was right and wrong.
Yeah, the consequences.
We start to see that it was bad to bully, and why we bully them when we can be friends.
Well, why do people bully? I don't understand the reason. I think they're just unsure about themselves.
They bully to get power,
attention,
be powerful, and
attention,
belonging.
Be the leader in the gang.
Girls in Year 8 get together to talk if any student is having problems.
At av og til så var det blikk, og du gikk litt alene i skolegården når du egentlig, mens mange andre gikk i grupper og sånn som det.
Jeg har ikke følt meg utestengt i det siste, men alle har vel følt seg utestengt en eller annen gang.
Josephine is the class representative who arranges the meetings.
If there are any problems in the class, or if we feel something's a bit wrong, then we just go into a group and then we talk about it, and then they'll say if they feel something is wrong, and then we'll just sort of try and fix it by ourselves. And sometimes if it's a really big problem, there'll be teachers there as well.
Snart så følte jeg meg litt ut for at jeg ikke helt passet inn. Jeg ikke kjente alle like godt, og at det var liksom at alle var så gode venner med alle, men så kom jeg liksom der og var ny, så jeg liksom måtte trenge meg på.
It's good to talk about the problems because they're sort of out in the open, and yeah, so I feel much better after the girl meetings because then we've talked about stuff that we've been irritated about or something like that.
Josephine's father, Martin, is English. He's lived in Norway for 20 years. He's put 3 children through the education system.
It seems to me that they spend a lot more time on interpersonal relationships between children and establishing networks at a child level, so that children, there's more accent on the social aspect of schooling.
Parental involvement is very important, and all parents are expected to take an active role.
If there's a pupil who is being left out and the parents take it up with the school, then we're all called in as a group of parents to discuss and see what we can do. It's not always easy as a parent, because obviously you're occupied with your own child, not necessarily with the whole group, but obviously you do what you can.
Friday Assembly is a major feature of the school week. Everyone attends, including some parents, and everyone gets a turn at performing.
It is first of all about the gathering, all school together, doing things together. It's very important that everybody can know that they are good at something, and they get the same kind of applause, no matter what it is. The children applaud, the parents, the teachers, and they feel good. Nobody leaves Taino School without having experience from stage, speaking in a microphone, and having positive comments from their fellow pupils. That is very important zero work. It is about being included.
We learn to talk out and sing in front of the whole school, and that gives people good confidence to stand out and be themselves.
And that the teachers teach the pupils not to laugh when somebody sings wrong, or not to talk when they're reading a poem, like, oh, that's so dorky, and so.
And everybody's clapping afterwards, so.
Yeah, and you feel really good about yourself.
Yeah.
Go out, be visible, be with the children. Involvement, be with them. Not at a distance, not guarding, but be with them and build a relation to each one.
It affects the way I think, actually. And I hope it made me a better teacher. I really hope.
The main resource a country has is not its natural minerals or its fisheries or anything. It is the population and the children growing up, because they will be the ones who carry this society on in the future. We need to give them best possible life when they're kids in order to make them best possible adults when they grow up.